This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to an Irish History Podcast. My name's Kevin Larney, and this week we've got an episode that we recorded back in January with Davy Holden, internet historian, big on YouTube, and for this episode, importantly, a proud Kilkenny man. So we talked about how we got into Irish history, our favourite Irish history periods, and talked about the best Irish historical movies, and then just had a nice run about all the reasons you should go visit Kilkenny. So because this episode was recorded 6 months ago, there are some very dated references. Talk about Ireland being at the World Cup this summer, which obviously didn't happen, so just ignore that and enjoy the episode. Go check out Davy's stuff. It's linked in the description of the episode. He's on YouTube, Instagram, all over the internet, and a very nice and interesting fella to talk to. So enjoy this episode. Happy June, and good luck. We're here in Kilkenny with our guest today,
Davy Holden.
Amazing. Because I would have said David, and then you're off to a bad start already. So it's better just to let you do it.
I'll accept Davy or Dahi. Either of those is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Dahi.
Occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. I was going to say it's re-raw. I took my glasses off. I was like, you're wearing an Irish top. Is that just the beard?
Yes.
It's actually, it's a brand, an Irish brand that make like Irish language clothing.
Oh, okay.
Focal.
Oh.
And, yeah.
I feel like, because you made this point about the beer before, re-raw, awfully dangerous. If one of that first door gets a bit faded, becomes a different kind of Irish language top, especially with your background.
I've gotten that so much wearing this jumper.
I'll be honest, if the first half of it gets taken off, it's still the exact same thing. If you take off that eye, you're in the exact same space.
If you're sitting in €5 pints or Reardons of a Monday drinking Guinness and talking about Fenianism, people aren't going to see the first door, or they're going to assume the first door stands for real. But this is, we're getting off to a good start now with visual gags for people who are listening to this audio medium. But so we're just going to talk about Kilkenny, I think, in general for the next
Kilkenny and Irish history.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, Davy, you're one of the few Irish history people who go by, because we have obviously the name of the podcast. You have your actual name.
Davy Holden history, yeah. I put absolutely zero thought into it.
That's good though for Brandon. That's
well,
everyone knows that's you now.
Yeah, but it's not the history of Davy Holden.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I put zero thought into that. It's just like, what do I call this brand? Will I come up with some like fancy Irish history name? It's just like, nah, Davy Holden history, that'll do.
That makes,
Do you know what? Because we talk about that now, about the name, and it probably, well, we're allowed to say it on national TV was fine.
Yeah.
Local radio, that's tough.
Everyone gets a bit skittish.
Yeah.
But you've been doing, how long have you been doing history stuff for? You've been putting out YouTube videos for a couple of years at this stage.
I've only been putting out videos for about 4 years. I learned how to use a camera and how to edit in 2020. Now I say that in 2026 I still have no idea how to use a camera, but I try my best. But I learned in 2020, my cousin is a musician, and during that year obviously we had lockdowns and whatnot, so he couldn't shoot music videos. We live right beside each other, we're next door neighbours, and he asked me, would you film a music video for me? And I was like, man, I don't even know how to turn a camera on, and gave me his camera for the day, went out and shot a video for him, or at least tried, and just loved it.
Yeah, nice.
Didn't know what I was doing, but I loved it. And then I wanted to start making more videos, and I thought to myself, like, what will I make videos on? And I was like, well, Irish history would be class. I love Irish history, so that's essentially how it was born.
But you play music as well though, right?
Yeah, I've been a musician for all of my life. I've been playing music since I'm about 8 or 9 years old. Haven't played a gig now in about a year, unfortunately, but apart from the last year, I've been playing all my life. But now that I'm just so busy with the channel now, the Irish History channel, I don't really have time to gig anymore, but that'll come back at some point.
That's a shame. That's a good thing, to be busy, so busy that you don't get to do the other thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll definitely come back to music though, 100%. Definitely.
And can you notice that we were only talking about it on the way down here in the car? Because everyone talks about the revival of the Irish language, but I find it's more the music everywhere now. Between like the Mary Wallopers, we're talking about the Porter Boys Social Club. There's so many we're giving them loads of props. The young lads are class, but
even like Lankum. And then CMAD, who's more kind of pop, but there's much more
Madra Salak, and there's so much of
there's more sort of cool bands that aren't shying away from the fact that they're Irish. Like people are leaning into the Irishness more.
Big time. And I think it's kind of like everything Irish, isn't it? As in, like, the language is kind of becoming more cool or popular now, which is amazing. Music has always been big, but I feel like now it's kind of more popular than ever for some reason.
Yeah.
Like history, like everything. Like everything Irish.
The clothing.
The clothing.
Yeah,
but it's true. It's like this. You see Pellador everywhere. It's like Irish brands. It's mad that loads of people say that on the right that they're like, we're losing Irishness. And turns out that all of the media and everyone's kind of getting real behind
if anything,
supporting Irish. It feels like the left are gone very nationalist, actually.
Yeah. Irish just hasn't had this much cachet since probably Sinead O'Connor. Probably ever, really. Because even when U2 were doing their thing, I suppose, they were Irish. And Sinead O'Connor was obviously very proudly Irish. But she wouldn't have had the same mainstream success in America as, say, Paul Mescal or I don't know. It feels like a good time to be cashing in on being Irish.
For some reason, like it's always been cool to be Irish, but it's class to see it becoming so popular now. Like, you know, between music or the language, etc. Because there's people all over the world now, not just in Ireland, learning Irish. It's mental. It's so class.
Well, this is a rant that we've gone on for a while, but the Choice Music Awards is coming up soon. It's and it's 26th year, I think, this year. But if you look at the nominees of like for Best Album of the Year, you can go back all the way to 2005. From only probably in the last number of years, the acts of being more kind of like Irish. Obviously all Irish artists, but they were more, I don't know, the Coronas or the De Laurentiis, or like a lot of those bands were just kind of like, what's popular in England or what's popular in America, and like our version of that, as opposed to the bands that are coming up now are much more like, you wouldn't mistake them for an American band or anywhere else in the world. It's very Irish.
Absolutely, yeah, and I feel like Irish kind of like folk music as well is getting again. It's always been massive, like, but like it's just
it goes through periods.
It's because
we had like Damien Rice and Glenn Hansard and everyone back in Paddy Case, whoever, early 2000s. There was a big rush of that, and then we kind of it went into the De Laurentis and Coronas era, and now we're straight back to the classic Irish,
Amble and Kingfisher and all this kind of stuff.
I mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Until this is how far I'm out of touch with like regular media. I found out who they were on the Late Late Show. That's like, at the toy show. I was like, oh, that's who they are. Okay.
Yeah, they were literally at the toy show, coming off stage, selling at the 3 Arena, and they're like, Jesus, they're on the toy show.
They must
big break for the boys. We'll probably be hearing more about them in the future.
Who else is Amble's the other one? Then, and I've seen them all now since. It's been a big January of me catching up with Irish content.
Yeah. I don't particularly like either of them musically, but fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan now. I love them. They're class.
Yeah, let's cut what Kevin said.
And just Davy being like, no, I think they're actually very good, and it's pretty bad that you said that. I listen, more power to them. I just it's not for me. But
that's fair.
Yeah, listen. But so you've been doing. I think the first video of yours I saw that you did one on the Newfoundland accent.
Yeah,
that went massive.
Went massively viral. I think that's maybe my first viral video, at least one of my first.
Yeah.
Which was gas, because I didn't really know a huge amount about Newfoundland before. Like, I never really studied it. I always knew about it and knew it was a thing and that Irish people went there, etc.
Yeah.
But I never like actually deep dived into it or anything like that.
It's not a very populous area. So it's not like you meet people from Toronto, Vancouver, all over the world a lot. But Newfoundland, I've only met a handful of people from there ever.
Yeah.
And they all disagree on how you pronounce Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Because we used to run a comedy. Era too. But and I've only met a handful in my whole life, and for some reason I met like 3 or 4 in the space of 2 weeks when we were in the Halfpenny once. And the first group corrected me on my pronunciation of Newfoundland, and then I changed it, and then the next group said I was wrong, and I should have done it the first way.
They're from the other side.
They're from the other side of Newfoundland. Yeah. Oh, you don't say Newfies, but it is a bizarre accent.
I ran into a lad there about last month in the club in the International, and but I was talking to him, it was like, your accent is, he said he was from Newfoundland. I was like, your accent's wild. It sounds very Irish. Like, I have been living in Cavan for 20 years. That's not, it was just as difficult to understand him.
Yeah. Because it sounds like an Irish person who's been living near a North American city for a while. Yeah, it's kind of it's a strange.
It is, yeah, and like how that all started for me was just I wanted to hear the accent, like, numerous different types of accents, because obviously Newfoundland's huge, like Ireland. You know what I mean? There's different Irish accents too.
Sure.
And I put up this video on TikTok. I was like, if you're from Newfoundland, duet this video and let me hear your accent.
Yeah.
And that video got millions of views. Like,
Jesus.
it was nuts. Yeah. And it just started getting tons and tons of videos of people from Newfoundland. And it's crazy. Like, a lot of them sound like they're from where I'm from, like South Kilkenny, Waterford, Wexford, that area.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And I've like, I met a few people from there as well. It's gas because I was in a bar in Kilkenny there, it's about 4 years ago, and this group walked in and they were like, how are you getting on, boys? And I was like, straight away, I was like, I bet you they're from Newfoundland. You know, you just hear that little kind of North American twist to it. It's gas, it's unreal.
Well, what's the population of Newfoundland?
It's like 500,000, it's tiny.
Yeah, but I suppose, do they travel just like the Irish? Do they have diaspora all over the place?
Yeah, I think a lot of people from Newfoundland, emigrate is a funny word to use. They go to like Canada, as in like Toronto, Vancouver or whatnot. I believe, that's what a lot of young people do.
Yeah, that's probably as far. I've travelled around Canada a fair bit, and it's fairly empty. There's a lot of nothing going on, and then about 4 cities. That they've spaced out across the place. But actually, the last time I was in Canada, it was fun because the accent, obviously, a lot of Irish people emigrated to Canada, and they go through. Is it Gross Eel? Is that right? Like there's a Canadian, there's a Canadian equivalent of Ellis Island. Yeah. They all go through there or whatever, but they all end up in Canada, and obviously the Newfoundland people kept the accent and didn't travel that far inland. Yeah,
because like by the 1830s or 1840s, like 50% of the population in Newfoundland was Irish-born people.
Yeah,
like that's nuts. Like
it
half
of
the population.
Yeah.
And I suppose Newfoundland is so isolated from everywhere else that they kept the accent. You know, as in like when Irish people emigrated and went to like New York or Boston or wherever, like they're surrounded by people from other countries and whatnot, so they're all adapting to a new culture. But like Newfoundland, I suppose, is different. It's isolated.
Yeah.
So people kept the accent and...
Yeah, it is a weird... I thought last time I was in Canada, this was the talking point for the Appalachian Mountains. A load of, it's mostly mined by like Scots, Ulster Scots and Irish people. They're the descendants of like the Appalachian Mountains. They're all Ulster Scots and Irish people. And apparently back in the Pangea days, back when the world was one, in the physical sense, not like a hippie sense, but it was the same mountain range that ran through Scotland, Ireland, and then these Appalachians. It was all one mountain range. So then the world splits, it goes over to North America. All these people leave this part of the world and head over to America and end up in the same mountains because there's something about it that, like, I don't know,
they're drawn to,
and then they end up mining the same coal that their ancestors would have mined back in Scotland and Ireland, which is crazy, which is when we discovered that, like, you know, in recent times.
Do they have their own Giant's Causeway then as well?
They've got the same level of myths, they've got the same things, but then supposedly, and this is, you know, all fucking etymology, all American etymology, if someone doesn't know the exact origin of a word, someone would be like, that's probably Irish. But hillbilly supposedly came from all these Ulster Scots who were over there, descendants of or followers of.
There's an old chicken shop back in Cork.
Well, they were all big fans of King Billy, Billy of Orange, and they lived in the hills, so they were the Billies of the hills, or the hillbillies.
Because like a lot
that's probably a lie, but it sounds conving.
Because a lot of the people in that area would have been like what they call in the States now, like Scots Irish. Some people say Scotch Irish as well.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's what they've been drinking.
Yeah. Well, Scots Irish, Scottish people like were gifted land during the Ulster plantation, and you know, made out like bandits out of that for a couple of 100 years, and then thought, "Fuck this, let's just do it again, but in America."
Yeah.
If it was good enough for our ancestors, it'll be good enough for us.
It's a really interesting topic in itself because, like, when you think of Irish people in the States, like most people think 1840s onwards, that's where you start.
Yeah.
But like there was tons before that, but I suppose they were largely Irish Presbyterians, I suppose, as well, and Irish Protestants. Because like they were even huge in the American Revolution, like Irish Presbyterians.
There's two distinct. There's ones that got over when the going was good, when there was like land and farming to be done, and then there's ones that went over more as like refugees, I suppose, and running off from a.
Like I always remember walking into the Alamo and seeing I didn't realise that because they have an Irish flag in there, of like the flag for all of the countrymen from whatever country you came from. So like, Jesus, there's 7 Irish lads, but they all have double barrel names,
right?
And they're obviously all Protestants. I was like, oh, fuck, fair enough. That's pretty interesting. And then the guy was like, yeah, you want to see how many Catholics are on the other side?
Yeah.
Because the Mexicans had like hundreds of Catholics. I was like, look at these 7 lads inside of this place. Like, there was thousands on the outside.
That's one of my favourite, I don't know, whenever I meet someone from Mexico, because it's the St. Patrick's Battalion, I think there's statues and different bits over there.
Patricios.
San Patricio. But yeah, there's the famine, a lot of Irish people head over. they all fight, I guess, they joined the American army, and the Americans are going to fight the Mexicans, and they all head down. And a load of Irish people, they're all lining up and they're like, and who are we fighting over there? It's like, the bloody Mexicans. And why do we hate them? Well, they're Catholic, their women are beautiful, and their food's amazing. They're like, oh, interesting. And they all left. They all abandoned the army, abscond, and head over the border. And now there's like a big celebration of it in Mexico.
I'm dying to go to Mexico to see some of these memorials and stuff. Yeah.
Hey, look, if Troy Parrott does the business in March, we're all going to Mexico.
My God. It's a lock.
Irish history, Mexican content.
Yeah. But it's just such a funny image of all these people like, oh, we could stay here and get, because all the officers, I assume, are like old WASP stock, and like they just left Ireland to escape these people. Yeah. Like, actually, we just fucking head over there to the class music. Yeah. It seems like more crack on that side. But then, where would your favourite story about Canada fit into that 1800s? It's probably around the same time
when Ireland invaded Canada.
They tried to take it over.
Yeah, and we could do it again. It's not too late.
Yeah, again, if Troy Parrott does the business in March, a lot of people would be heading up to Canada.
Yeah.
Now I know the games are going to be in Mexico, but
our games are. But you know,
that's it. They won't see it coming. That's
short-sightedness. I think some of the games will be in Canada if we get far enough.
No, I think
no.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Mind.
But I always find that interesting because the fact that they went up there both wearing, like, they just finished the American Civil War, and then they instantly go towards the border wearing the clothes of both sides.
Yeah.
So that they're on the same team. Just like, you imagine the Canadians who see that, they're like, wait, what's going on? There's like all of America's coming for us. They're like, let's down our tools here and come this way.
Yeah. If you trace that story all the way back to its origins, it actually kind of lands right here in Kilkenny.
Yes, I was just going to try and steer us that way, but you've done a much better job of it.
Yeah, it's like literally not even a 5-minute walk from here is the house of James Stephens. It's on Blackmill Street there in Kilkenny City. And a lot of people don't even know it's there. And I suppose like it's such a really important historical landmark in Irish history and American history.
Yeah.
But like I bring people there a lot, and it's not much to look at. It's a house. So you're right,
sure.
You know.
Yeah.
But like its significance is huge. So like there's a rebellion in 1848 in Ireland during Great Hunger, of course. Some of the rebels were arrested, sentenced to death, or else transported to Van Diemen's Land, and some escaped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. James Stephens escaped, and so did a lad called John O'Mahony. They made their way to Paris. They actually lived together for a while. James Stephens spends about 7 years there, and eventually comes back to Ireland. And in 1858 then, Stephens is one of the founding members of the Irish Republican Brotherhood. John O'Mahony founds the American branch of the IRB in New York, which was the Fenian Brotherhood. I mean, like, this is the beginning of the IRB and the Fenians that would later go on to mad things, but the invasions of Canada being one.
The Dynamite Wars,
like Tom Clark and Jeremiah O'Donovan Ross. And
the Dynamite Wars are great because I've tried to tell that joke on stage a good bit, and it really depends on how many Irish and English are in the crowd for it to go well. But like it was 27 bombs they planted, or at least that's what like they were found / went off over the space of the whole campaign. 11 of them actually were detonated.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, 3 people died from 27 bombs, and 2 of them were the IRA lads who were planting the bombs. It's it's a terrible campaign that caused very little damage.
Yeah, and speaking of IRA, that's another like Fenian story that's interesting. Like the origins of the name IRA really comes back to the Fenians too.
Yeah,
because during the Fenian invasions of Canada, they had like little badges on their shoulders. It's IRA.
The first time it ever shows up is
Yeah, so it's super cool as well. I mean, they would have used it like more than you would think, I suppose, in like 1916. But yeah, it was the Fenians that kind of invented or coined that term, like, which is cool.
Fenianism is such a, I don't know, I think if you've been following the news at all, America is fairly racist at the minute, very anti-immigrant, I suppose. But it's funny that people are very proudly Irish. You know, Irish Americans are a big voting bloc. You go back to the late 1800s of like Irish American history. Irish people were coming over, fleeing a famine. People coming over undereducated, probably with disease, moving over to big areas in New York and Boston, not necessarily integrating with other people and like making big neighborhoods for themselves, and then almost immediately setting up and funding like the Fenian Brotherhood and sending money back to Ireland to do a bombing campaign against America's biggest ally in Europe at the time, like the UK. And it is funny that we like did all that, and now, you know,
Yeah.
We're probably, if you had to rank it, the worst immigrants at the time. Like we were running the dynamite campaign trying to actively blow up London. Like Tom Clark wasn't in hiding; he was like living openly in the States and orchestrating this attacks on England, and then invading Canada. Which now it seems like America wants to do itself, but back then they were pretty against. And we were doing all this, and then within a couple of years, JFK is in the White House, and everyone wants to be Irish.
Yeah, which is completely life changing for like Irish Catholics in the States,
Yeah.
But it is kind of nuts, like how huge the Fenians became in the States.
Oh, yeah.
Like we don't learn that in Ireland. Like in school, I don't think we learn anything about the Fenians in America, right? Do we?
No,
Like,
not
really. We would have done a bit about because you've got I don't know if you mentioned that on the podcast or before we were recording, but McDonough, the train station here is named for Thomas McDonough.
Yeah.
Ours is Tom Clark in Dundalk, so
Class.
we might spend a bit more time learning about him maybe growing up. But in general, they don't really focus on the R
was
or
the
B
problem?
side of it.
Well, obviously, I haven't been in secondary school for a good while now, but I was like that they don't. When we were there anyway, they don't go through that. It's like 1/4 of the entire syllabus is Irish history.
Yeah.
So even
right.
within that, there's no time to. That should be. I know, like in Texas, when I used to live there, they'd say that like you always had a full semester where it was just Texas history. Where they taught you all about your local state as well as then the rest of the nation before you ever get worried about like the rest. I mean, it's important for all of us to know about World War II, but we probably know more about Irish history before we jump onto that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's enough movies about World War II. You can figure that out yourself.
That's actually one thing that I didn't actually like about history in school is that, like, for me as a teenager, I didn't give a damn about anything else, even though like I should have, but all I wanted was Irish history.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn about history of where I come from, like where I live.
Were you big into that when you were a teenager?
Yeah, but
Oh.
I didn't actually do it in
Okay.
school. Like, as in, like, I gave up history after like the junior cert. I didn't even do my leaving cert in history.
Okay.
Like, so,
Oh, yeah.
so I haven't like been to college for history. I haven't even done it for my leaving cert. Nothing.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of started off learning myself just through reading.
Sure.
Well, I'd say a lot of people get turned off by because we find it interesting now going back and looking through it, but it's a lot of land acts and it's a lot of that, and it's interesting, but trying to teach a 16-year-old about like at the time you're not even really fully sure of like what it means to own your land, like you're a child.
But you can but it's also like you don't need to go down like get bogged down in the fucking minutiae of the Lands Act.
You could do a whole year on 1916 and every lad would be like, they did what to us?
Yeah. But there's so many bits of like that you were talking about, like the 1848 revolution. You can talk if you just do like famine 1848
famine and war, if it bleeds it leads, do that,
yes,
and then we'll figure the rest out afterwards.
As we all know, all Irish history is just the famine and 1916 and everything else is irrelevant.
Because I don't think we learned even about 1798 in school, but then 1798 is very dark. But then it's important to know about it, like, you know.
Because they all leave, but even maybe this, I don't know, like modern, in my mind, I can kind of roughly know what's happening from the early 1600s. You can kind of block out like Cromwell in the mid 1600s, then like King Billy in like 1690, and then 1700s, everything's fine, nothing really
penal
happens.
laws, yeah.
Penal laws, yeah, and then 1798, 1802, the famine. You can throw in the Land Act then if you want. 1916, done. Like that, if you know roughly those bits, you can kind of map out how Ireland came to be.
And then there's a million great books on the War of Independence. So like, if you wanted to just take that up after school, I guess.
And then 1926, Dev found Fianna Fáil, and we all lived happily ever after. Done. Right? That's it. You know? And then we set up our Irish Catholic utopia, and we all bloody made off like millionaires. Like that's end of the book. But what would your area of what would you be an anorak in, I suppose?
My favourite period of Irish history, and the period that got me into history in the first place, was the War of Independence.
Yeah.
That's like what, like, as soon as I read my first War of Independence book, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. 100%, like, you know.
Yeah.
Just loved it. I don't know. I suppose that was the period that got me interested because it was recent. You know, you can trace back your family that were taking part in it. It's different if you're learning about 1798, a little bit trickier, right?
Yeah.
But 1919 to 1921 is so recent that, you know, there's people alive now whose parents, fought in that.
It very much dictated, like, we were always saying we did an episode of Michael D. Higgins the other day, and like his dad, like how Michael D's his childhood was affected by the War of Independence. Like his dad fought in it and then was ostracized, and like, modern politics is very much influenced by the war.
100%. And because it's recent, we have videos from it, we have pictures from it. You know, it's so much easier to connect with it because it's so recent.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's local to everyone all around the country. Do you know what I mean? Like there's memorials all over the place and particular events that took place all over the country. Like it's slightly different with something else, like I suppose even 1916 or 1798.
Yeah, yeah. That was more. Just the rest of the country really let it down. There was Dublin, Castle Bellingham near my house, so I would say we did our part. Kilkenny, it's not much happening. They're all probably too busy, I don't know, going to Protestant church.
Playing hurling.
Well, yeah, maybe. Leave the fucking revolution to the Dubs. We've got training. But yeah, do you duck out down before the Civil War, before things get messy? You just like War of Independence, Irish versus the British, good guys versus the bad guys, black and white.
Because it is, I suppose I'd find those parts very interesting as well. There is something that I have like a leftover thing from the Leaving Cert of like that it's tough to go back to the 1600s to 1700s. It's morbid, it's gross, there's nothing good, and it's also that it's not going to get good here for a while.
Yeah.
In terms of when is it going to be good for the Irish people? It feels like it's going to be a lot of... There's enough going on in the world now where it's sad to look at the news and to look at history from that period. You're like, this isn't making me feel much better either.
Yeah.
But even to wrap your head around like the players in it, like a lot of the countries aren't the same. A lot of the wars they're fighting, they're like, what the fuck? Like a lot of it is, well, Protestant versus Catholic, I guess, does last for a long time. But a lot of it is just like, you don't know the leaders, you don't know the structures, you don't know what countries are powerful and what's going on outside of Ireland.
But it's easier to consume things when they're broken down to be like A versus B. Say again, did you watch The House of Guinness?
No, not yet actually.
You don't need to. It's not fantastic. And you're like, but that they hark on the idea that it's Catholics versus Protestants. Or sorry, it's more of that, like it's Irish, English, or that there's the Fenians. And these are the low-level scum. And then there's the rich, upper-class Guinness people. But they're like, everyone here, there's no English people here. That there's no one in the show who's English. That there's like, oh, of course the Fenians hate the rich Irish. It's like, no, there's loads of English people around at that time. And there's not a single accent in the entire show.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's very interesting. And I didn't even have a problem with like, there's points where they go to Connacht and it says Connacht, County Galway. Yeah, it's not great. I'm like, look, no one involved in this show is Irish.
Yeah,
that they're going to make mistakes.
Where would
like
they
that.
even find Irish actors or producers?
I actually have cousins in Connacht, County Galway.
There you go. Yeah,
you trace it all back there. But yeah, so even watching it that like it probably is easier for an American audience or the English to look at it and be like, right, just pick two people, don't get involved in the history or facts or anything.
Yeah,
just make it so that it's easy to consume, that it's like good versus bad, or like one side pros and cons versus the other side pros and cons.
Yeah,
I don't know what the pros are for the Guinness family. Maybe in season 2 we'll see that.
They employed a lot of people, Catholics up until a certain level, but they had somewhere to go, kept them off the streets.
Yeah. There has been some unbelievable shows, and I suppose movies specifically, like The Wind That Shakes the Barley. It's just perfect. It's just absolutely class. And like you could argue, like Michael Collins' film, I suppose, like it's so factually incorrect.
Do you mean the documentary?
Yeah, that documentary.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But then, like a lot of people give out about there's so many things in Michael Collins that are incorrect. But then again, like, it's not a documentary, it's a movie. Yeah. It's supposed to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Whereas The Wind That Shakes the Barley is way more accurate. Like, you know.
Yeah. Because we did Collins and Dev last year that I watched Mrs. American. So we watched Collins and The Wind That Shakes the Barley. And The Wind That Shakes the Barley will sit with you for a while.
Yeah.
Like, you can watch Collins and you're like, most of this is factual. There's definitely bits that are wrong, but like brothers fighting brothers, like families divided, people die, and you're like, oh, that's tough. That final like 10-15 minutes of The Wind That Shakes the Barley will just hang on you for like a week. Yeah. That's like, she was very upset watching it. She had no ties to the country. Yeah.
This is my trauma. You can't have this.
But it shows an awful lot. It shows us better than, say, like Collins, the difference between the rural Ireland at the time versus Dublin. that when you see what it's like in those areas, which you don't tend to see in Collins, because Collins is more, Jesus, he's on a bike and he's having great crack, and look at him, he's a gurrier going around the city. He should have been caught there. Look at him sneaking into Dublin Castle, and the wind that shakes the barley is like, here's a chicken coop that's going to be burnt out.
And that movie is like monumental for Irish history. Like Ken Loach just killed it. Like he couldn't have done it any better. Like, you know, it's just so perfect, start to finish. It's class. And that was huge. I think that's huge for most Irish people, even for me as well. Like it was a huge part of getting interested in Irish history as well, you know, seeing that movie.
It's well, it'd be interesting tying in the start of this of the, like, you know, now there's a big rise in Irish actors and they're off doing great things, but they're off doing great things like Hamlet and other British or American affairs. Why aren't we seeing, like, get all them back and do a great Irish historical?
Yeah, we need one 100%. Like,
there hasn't been. Well, like, when was Shiz's party? Early 2000s.
Yeah,
a long while ago.
Was it?
Was that late ago?
Is it that old? No, maybe it's not that old.
Cillian Murphy is young.
I'm gonna say 2004, maybe.
But
2004.
Cillian Murphy, another one. I think. Yeah, we've got all this great talent, and get them back in and make a decent film about any other aspect of Irish history.
100%. We need a movie on 1916. Like, it's crazy. I know 1916 features in Michael Collins at the start, but it's not a 1916 movie.
No.
Rebellion, the TV show, kind of touched it, but even still, it's a big production.
I think a big you probably won't see that really for a long time because it's too close.
There's it has everything though, doesn't it?
It has it all, yeah.
Do you know?
But you'd need to do a whole. It needs a fucking HBO miniseries where you start back in. I don't know, because you need to start with the Fenians and like Ed Stevens and O'Donovan Rossa and move the whole way up. That's season 1, and then you get into, like, I don't know, the Boer War and then the background of World War One and all this stuff.
You have,
It takes fucking ages, and then eventually season 4 you start with 1916,
or set it up Star Wars style, where that's just all text at the beginning.
Somehow the British Empire returned.
Like a TikTok video, like cramming information in
just speed it up at double speed.
And then the bastards. Ellipses open up.
I thought you meant Star Wars style of, like, have the first one really controlled, well written, structured, and have all of it laid out, and then just give it to a different director for the second season and just fucking let anyone at it. Fuck it, it's not that important anymore.
Yeah, but that's what, like, I'd love nothing more than a 1916 movie. I think there needs to be one.
Yeah.
Like the War of Independence now, I'd love another movie. We're not going to get one, I don't think. Ken Loach done such a good job. You can't outdo that movie, I don't think. So, like, a movie on, like, 1798 or something would be cool as well, but I don't think it would have the same interest.
It wouldn't have this, again, you have to, there's too many, you have to do too much groundwork to lay stuff up. But 1916 is recognisable.
Well, they did that one, was a Black 47 the other year.
That wasn't great.
I didn't see it. I heard it wasn't great, and everyone was like,
unless your cousin made it.
No.
It wasn't great. That's the trouble. You can't read, and not that I would, but be bad mouthing any Irish enterprise because someone would be like, actually, my cousin was the DP on that. Like, that was my favorite part of it, actually. Great sound design, but it wasn't great. But then that's, you know,
Saipan. That was a great war. That was a great war movie.
A great war film. But as Jason was saying, we've done a lot about Collins and Dev over the last years. I was gonna. Have you got any? What's the most scandalous thing you think about Eamon De Valera?
The most scandalous thing?
Yeah, that we mightn't have researched.
One of the first things that popped into my head there, I don't know, is this the most scandalous, but it's certainly scandalous, is the fact that. Well, excuse me. This is one of the great things he did.
Yeah.
I misinterpreted your question completely there. I was trying to be so positive.
Yeah. Scandalous. Oh, right, yes. What's, let's get into the good things he did before we...
Yeah, because everyone, like, talks down against Dev, and, there's fair reasons for a lot of it. But, like, if you look at some of the 1916 veterans, women specifically, that were denied pensions after it.
Yeah.
Like, De Valera made sure they got them, like, some of them. Like, Margaret Skinner there is a good example.
Yeah. Because a lot of the stuff levelled against him is that he was, he wasn't fond of women, or a bit chauvinistic. I suppose he did sort of, like, early pension stuff, and then he, but then he did kind of promise a lot of stuff for women's rights and suffrage, and then kind of didn't do any of it.
Not letting Kathleen Clark go in for was it the Shannon?
The Shannon.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, her and someone else wanted to go for the Shannon, and he's like, "Well, we can't have 2 women in there.
Yeah.
But if 1 woman and 4 men, that's balance."
Jeez, yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just the whole like logically behind it. It's like women equal footing, equal platform, everyone 50-50. That's what Ireland is. It's like we've got 5 positions. Okay, 20% can be women.
Yeah.
No more than 20.
Yeah.
But
But but it did help a lot of women get their pensions, and that fella he had shoot Michael Collins, he made sure that he got paid. Desi Sonny O'Neill, he got his full pension. That's probably a lie. But he was, we spent a long time researching him this year and doing bits about him. He was a complicated man.
Absolutely, yeah.
He was around for so much of Irish history and like involved in it, there in a military role in 1916, all around for the War of Independence, the Civil War, and a kind of
raising funds and all that. In the States.
Raising funds in the States, doing the kind of PR stuff in the States, and then massive political figure
taking that money to set up his media organization.
Yes. And then just around during the 30s, 40s, 50s, and still.
It was like, have you ever seen the video of I think they're RT or Clare, I think maybe, when he passes away, and they go on the street and ask people, so what's that, 75, and they're asking people, it's like, what do you think of De Valera or De Valera's time? And you realise that almost everyone in the video has never known another Irish president.
Yeah,
right? Like everyone is like, oh yeah, he was there for so long. And you're like, there's old men that are like, well, I've only ever known the one guy.
Yeah.
It's interesting just that he was, because we look back and say, he was there for so long. For a lot of people, it's like if he was the main person for so long. Like if Higgins was, not to say wasn't important, but if there was real weight behind what he had to do. For like, you're talking generations and generations. Like if we were to be born and then you die at 40, and for the main man in the country to always be the same person, it does make it sound more like a dictatorship now.
No, just because he made up most of the roles that he would give himself. But he was only a dictator briefly
for our own good. Was the
every once in a while he had to shut down the Shannon because they were getting in his way, but he made sure that it got back up again.
Probably the most controversial figure in Ireland's history. I mean, like, is there? I mean, like, Irish person.
Because I was going to say
Cromwell wasn't great.
Cromwell, maybe the most controversial. A lot of people these days don't like him, but they don't really know why. He has a bad reputation.
Yeah, and he's done a couple of good things. I mean, didn't he create that Gaeltacht? That man-made Gaeltacht? I can't even think of the name of it. Up near Meath.
The one in Meath, I was going to say. Maybe he did. I don't know. I know the one you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
It's like the only one on the East Coast.
Wasn't he responsible for that? Didn't he create that, I think?
Maybe. He was a big proponent of the Irish language.
Was it Dukas or whatever? Did he set that up?
He set up, Dukas. And he was big, Irish language and Irish folklore. Now, the fact that we're all having this conversation in English means he wasn't very successful, but that is also kind of, our fault. No, you can't blame him. I think he does get blamed for everything that's wrong with the country, even though some stuff was not his fault and also our own fault sometimes.
I suppose there was an awful lot of like the things that were already underway and in motion before he would have been in power. That it's like he did that it was happening before he got in. Well, he didn't stop it. And he didn't reverse it. And you're like, you can't blame him for absolutely everything, but we can try. But no, because I suppose after the whole year of it, that I personally anyway was like, I went in having an overall feeling about him, and then learned a lot of good, a lot of bad, and at the very end, I'm like,
you're in the same position, but you're
more educated. I'm more educated about it, and I know why I feel the exact same way. Whereas, for Collins, it's kind of like, I don't know. I think most of the people around our age who have grown up with the film, and that, but like, it was an overall sense of, God, he was a great man, and Jesus. And then after learning a whole lot more about him, I was like, ooh, that's not great, and that's not great. And then at the whole end of it, I'm like, God, he was a great man. I'm willing to overlook so much with Mick.
He's only really around for really May 1916 to he's only around for about 5 years. Really. Collins, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose,
even
like he was obviously took part in the Easter Rising. He was aide de camp for Joe Plunkett.
But he took part as in like he was serving Joe tea and taking his calls.
Yeah, like he wasn't like when you think of Michael Collins, you don't think the Easter Rising. Like you know what I mean? Nobody does.
Well, you do, but you kind. I think he's wrongly associated with like all that. But like Dev was much more. Dev's a commandant. Dev's leading.
Because I don't know any stories of Collins in the Rising. Like the first story you hear really is him in Kilmainham sneaking away so he doesn't have to be executed.
Yes.
Or whatever. Or is that the one?
Well, that's the trouble with Collins, is that there's so many stories about him, and 90% of them are false.
Yeah.
Because what is it that they say that? Well, there's two versions. There's one that he's meant to be the next one on the chopping block, but the one that they're calling his name, but he's just walked over to the other group of prisoners.
Yeah.
That are all been sent to Wales. You're like, okay,
which is the end of the life of Brian, and not an actual thing that happened. You for execution? No, they said I could go. Oh, all right, fair enough.
I remember when I first started learning about Collins, it kind of started off nearly after the Easter Rising. It's like in Frongok.
Yeah.
Actually, I just said Frongok, and it's not pronounced Frongok.
Yeah.
I've been given
how
out
is
to,
it? How is it
It's
pronounced?
pronounced with a V
Where's the V?
at the start. So
Frognock.
It's Frongok.
If the Welsh want us to respect their language, they could have their own 1916. All right, we'll just keep.
But that's where it kind of started for me when I was learning, was in Vrongach, and I suppose like reorganizing what would become the IRA.
Getting the IRB back up and running.
Again.
But it's really a short period of time, and trying to research him, so much of it is mythologized because there's not that much. Obviously, a lot of what he does is a secret, so by the nature of it, it's not very well written down. A lot of it is like quotes from old IRA men 50 years later, who, they're saying what he said, but who knows? Yeah.
But like, he was just such a competent leader during the War of Independence. It's insane. Like, the things that the IRA pulled off in those 2.5 years for like, a guerrilla, unofficial, a lot of them untrained army. Like, it's mental. Absolutely mental. That's kind of, again, what brought me into the War of Independence, is like, how did they do this?
Yes.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Just the level of like espionage, guerrilla warfare, stuff that he's kind of
the streams of information that coming from. It's well, I also think that it's interesting that the idea that people would say that the British didn't know what he looked like. Everyone had to have known what he looked like.
Yeah.
This is one of the big fun.
They had pictures of him, like they knew.
They
had
video of him.
Yeah.
Where he's minister. This came up the other day where Ed Tierney was saying it to me that no one knew what he looked like. There's a video from, I guess, is it 1917? It's when he gets out of Frognock and as Minister for Finance films himself handing out loans to the widows and wives of 1916.
Yeah, so
it's all like it's credited. Yeah. It's him behind a desk and his name on it.
Yeah, and it's like, here comes Kathleen Clark. Yeah. It's like Tom Clark's widow, and it's him handing the and it's on the steps of where they killed Robert Emmet.
Yeah, they brought out some
the chopping block or whatever. And it's a great bit of propaganda.
Yes.
But that they went around and showed it in cinemas all around the country. Sometimes from reports at gunpoint to show people. So not only people were forced to watch it.
Yes, and then weeks later people were like, no one knew what he looked like. It was a mystery. It's I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really add up. But again, a lot of it is that he dies so young.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, I suppose, folklore around his life that's just completely blown out of proportion and so untrue, like, I suppose. Because he's such a famous figure, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he wasn't a legend, but there's so many stories that are just completely made up, like,
I'm trying to think, is there any other good conspiracy theories around Collins other than his death? What about who killed Harry Boland? That's another.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get more Irish conspiracy theories going.
I'm trying to think of more conspiracy theories. And I can't really.
'Cause Harry... Yeah, he gets shot and he's alive for quite a while, long enough to get him into hospital.
Yeah,
but he never says who shot him.
Yeah, it wasn't his sister that was by his bedside.
Yeah, and his mother maybe. Yeah, but,
and he told his sister or his mother that whoever shot him was with him in 1916.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's there's enough of a mystery there, but you never hear really about that.
Yeah.
Who's? This is a 2-part question, but who's your favourite 1916 revolutionary? This is like a first date question.
1916 specifically?
Well, Oh,
it's tough. I would say Tom Clark.
Yes.
to be honest.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah.
It's the O'Reilly, surely.
Well,
I'm going to show up late and be like, "Feck it, I'm showing up to stop it." And then like, I'm joining in.
Yeah. Yeah. Why Tom Clark?
Just because I think, right, do you know what's kind of funny about 1916 is that, you know, when
Nothing.
Go back to nothing's funny actually, but you know what's interesting is that, you know, when you're learning it again, going back to school and stuff, like who's the most famous figures, right? It's probably Patrick Pearse, arguably the most famous.
Yeah,
I wouldn't consider Tom Clark or Sean McDiarmid, say for example, the most famous figures.
Like the top tier is probably like Pearse, Connolly, and Dev.
Yeah,
in terms of like names people would recognize now.
It's kind of interesting, like that McDiarmid and maybe Clark not as much, but a little bit are nearly overshadowed a little bit when it's kind of nuts because they're some of the most important people.
Yes,
you know, for reorganizing the IRB and whatnot. Yeah, but yet they're kind of overshadowed, which is like mental. You know, how could those two be overshadowed?
Yeah.
You know? I think Sean McDiarmid are probably a little bit more than Clark, maybe.
They'll get their own episodes in the miniseries.
Yeah.
If we finally get that done.
Well, Joe Plunkett as well, and like the Plunkett family are big kind of orchestrators and financiers, and there is a tiered system to like who is associated with 1916.
Yeah, just Tom Clark's life is cool. Like he's born in England, grew up in South Africa for a little while, and then back to Ireland to Dungannon in Tyrone. Goes to America twice. Guess how long did he spend in prison? It was 15 years.
Yeah, arrested for a crime he wasn't even allowed to commit.
Yeah,
that's outrageous. I mean, sure, he was. What was he caught at the docks in Liverpool with a load of dynamite? There is no telling what he was going to do with that dynamite. They have no proof. But
nuts,
do you ever listen to do you know Lorcan Collins?
Oh yeah, legend.
Yeah. I don't know, his podcast is very intermittent, very good, but he doesn't release very regularly.
Yeah, he's so busy. I suppose,
he's hanging out with Hassan Piker. He hasn't got time to
I'm dying for him to release more episodes, like, as his episodes are like phenomenal. Like he's such an expert, like he's class.
I believe the last ones maybe I'm wrong now, but I think the last ones he released were him reading Harry Clark or Tom Clark's prison diaries,
right,
under the name, I can't remember what his name was.
Hammond Wilson.
Yes. Yeah. So he's just unbelievably grim, but really, really interesting because he's living under a fake name for so long in English prisons. He's, you know, they're all kind of in solitary confinement basically, and he's watching all these people he goes in with go mad over however long he's in there. It's really bleak, but very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But then he gets out of that, and a lot of people would allow the, you know, being in solitary confinement and the mental torment that would put on you. A lot of people wouldn't really handle that well when they got out into free society, but Tom took it in his stride and went over to America and started orchestrating a bombing campaign against the British.
Yeah. While running a sweet shop in Brooklyn.
Yeah. He barely even remembered the prison times. Yeah.
But it's actually like my favourite quote ever in Ireland's history is Tom Clark as well. And it's what he said to Kathleen before he was executed when he was in Kilkenny.
Yeah,
it's class. It's a really long quote, but like it ends in like between this and freedom, Ireland will go through hell, but Ireland will never lie down again. And it's just, I highly recommend watching Kathleen Clark's interview. Yeah, it's just so class. It's so powerful. Like,
they're a great couple, but she goes on to what period were we just talking about? She's the mayor of Dublin a little bit after that. Anyway, but it's like Tom Clark, I always find it funny that he's referred to as like old man Clark, the grandfather of the revolution. I think he's 54 maybe during 1916.
Yeah.
Like he's not an old man.
But
he looks older.
We judge it all by the photos.
He looks, but even at the time they were all about like old man Clark is coming over. He's like maybe early 50s.
Yeah. He looked a lot older.
He does look a lot older. Yeah. I mean, revolution and age it. But sure, yeah, they all look like men, but they're all probably
because everyone's wearing
30s.
Suits. And that like but I know because I've had
they're not coddled by.
But I've had plenty of Americans say that. It'd be like, look at back then. It's like all these 30-year-olds. They all have suits. It's like no, they all had one suit.
Yeah,
they wore it 7
suit.
Yeah, they wore it 7 days a week, and it was stinking.
Yeah,
it's like that's not the mark of a man. Like, if you met that fella when he was like 33, it's like it's not a great smell off that fella.
Yeah. And what happened to him? Oh, he died at 24 because he was wearing a suit out farming one day and the tiger caught in an engine and ripped his arm off. But I would say, aside from Tom Clark and the O'Reilly, although it was the O'Reilly. Did you ever see his? There's like a mural for the letter he writes to his wife.
Yeah, up in near Moore Street there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually on a O'Reilly parade, which gives away what happens to him there. But that's fucking oof. I used to do that in the walking tours around, and it's very to have the wherewithal. So he gets shot and then goes down that alley to die, and like writes a letter to his wife, and it's heartbreaking.
It's unreal. It was like, my darling Nancy, I've taken more than a bullet or something.
Taken more than one bullet, I think. Yeah. Tons of love to you and Nell and the kids or whatever.
It's phenomenal.
He says it's a good war anyhow. The way he describes it is if like they're playing a fucking game.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was a good war anyhow. And then just signs it and says, please deliver to Nan O'Reilly, whatever, in Herbert Park. And
bye.
Yeah. As he's bleeding out. But the funniest thing for me is that they obviously deliver it because we have the letter.
Yeah.
Which means that they shot him after a week or whatever in the GPO, chase him down the street, shoot him, and he's dying in the gutter. He's like, give this to my wife. And they're like, all right, yeah, fair enough. Like, it's just it's all just a game.
Yeah, like he's one of the biggest legends, I suppose, of the Easter Rising, isn't he? And
he's the only one that just has a surname and goes by the.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny, he actually spent the week before trying to stop the Rising.
Yeah.
And then ended up taking part in it.
Yes. Was it him or is it Bulmer Hobson who has that quote of, they show up to try and stop it, and then it's already started, and he's like, well, I've wound up the clock, I may hear the bell strike or something.
Yeah, I thought that was the
I can't remember if that's O'Reilly or Hobson, but yeah.
Then I'll change my answer.
But the real correct answer is Roger Casement.
Roger Casement, yeah. His story is mental as well. Like.
He's probably the most, I mean, they all have crazy stories, but his is maybe the most ripe for a movie production now. Like that would maybe even more so like 10 years ago, but the fact like is because he was a gay man, and all the stuff that came after that, I think that would have made a huge movie maybe 10 or so years ago,
and even a very unexpected Irish rebel as well. Like,
absolutely, yeah. But the fucking origin story of what he does in Congo, what he does in Brazil, and then just to come back and he gets his knighthood or whatever, throws that all the way to go take part in this revolution, and insane story.
Yeah, goes to Germany, gets all the weapons.
Yeah,
it's mental.
Well, goes to Germany and tries to get all the weapons.
Got the weapons,
kind of
deliver
fucks
them,
it. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. But just really, really interesting stuff. And then the whole I can't remember. He's got his black diary and his white diary, and I can't remember which is which. But like, he's got one public diary, and then in the other diary, it's just all of the
conquests,
massive penises he's seeing around the world. He's just keeping a track. Did you ever see it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. It's called the Black Diaries.
My God, is it the Black? Yeah.
It's from his time in the Congo that he wrote. He documented all of the men that he slept with and the sizes of the men.
Yes.
And they supposedly during negotiations for the treaty, Collins was taken out and brought down to a separate room, and they showed him the diaries.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, so who knows whether they were true or not.
Yeah, they were definitely because I remember like years ago growing up, you'd hear about Casement and that because they can't execute him like the rest of them because he's a knight, he's a British hero, and he's done all this humanitarian work, so they need to like discredit him, in their words at the time.
Yeah, they stripped him of his knighthood, sure, didn't they?
Yeah, I think he tries to what's the word, like rescind it, but you can't maybe. I think he from Germany he writes a letter back being like, I don't want your knighthood anymore.
Right.
But
you can't resign, you're fired.
Yeah, well, reasonably enough, they're like, the letter's like coming from, it's postmarked #1 Berlin Street, and they're like, well, this could just be German propaganda. It'd be very easy just to be sending letters back from like
that's true,
any of their famous knights and be like, fuck the British Empire, I've decided I'm with the boys over here.
Yeah.
But they strip him of his title and they use the Black Diaries in court to paint him as a deviant. And the diaries are like locked up then, but they're released in the 60s. And the theory I always heard growing up is that they forged the diaries. They forged the diaries just to discredit him so that they could hang him. But what I've read in recent times, or from more, there's some podcast called Bad Gays, I think, 2 homosexual scholars, and they went back and read the diaries, and like, these diaries, there's no way they're forged because they're too gay. And there's no way that a British civil servant in 1917 or 16 could have written the detail
Right.
of the sort of detail that Roger Casement went into in these diaries.
Which is a theory, but also couldn't there just be one gay person in on the British side?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, all it would take would be one.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I like to think that it's all true. But he's a fascinating guy.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. But well, yeah. Then from Kilkenny's point of view, Tom McDonough doesn't get a whole lot of talking.
Yeah, and he's actually not a Kilkenny man, but we got the name for the train station, McDonough Junction.
Did he teach here or he lived here?
Yeah, he was actually a teacher in the school that I went to.
Oh,
he taught in St. Kieran's College. He was French and English teacher.
Right.
And French and English? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's French and English. And he joined the Gaelic League here in Kilkenny as well. So
Yes.
Roadhouse, just on Parliament Street there, that was the local centre for the Gaelic League. And that's where he joined, and that's where he got. This sounds so biased coming from somebody from Kilkenny, but
He was the greatest one of them all.
That's essentially where he got his kind of republicanism from, I suppose, was the Gaelic League.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I'm not sure of, but why we got the name McDonough Junction, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Because you think it would have went to Tipperary, like. You know, where it's from,
yeah, what's the train station in Tipperary? Who's it named after?
Limerick Junction, which is confusingly in
Sure,
Tipperary.
that's true.
Yeah.
I would have thought that they, Hogan, the Hogans are from there, aren't they?
Like Sean Hogan and that?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Dan.
during the
Yeah.
War of Independence, yeah.
They probably would have just called it We Invented GAA train station if they had an option.
Like, yeah, it's weird that McDonough. It's weird that Limerick Junction wasn't named McDonough Junction, and we just
That's true.
stayed Kilkenny railway station or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm delighted to have it. But
Yeah.
I don't know the reason why Tip didn't take it
Did McDonough live with one of the other revolutionaries down here? There was some other
in Kilkenny.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, maybe I'm mixing that up with someone. But to go back to Dev, like that's another great fact about Dev when he was running in the 1956 elections.
Right.
Him and he was up against Tom O'Higgins, and he was like, "We'll do a gentleman's. We're running for president. We'll do this like gentlemen. No press. It's beneath the office. We won't do interviews or radio interviews or anything like that." And they agree on that. And then Dev goes out and says, "Right, it's the 50th anniversary of 1916. I'm going to go around the country and rename all the train stations." And he just does so while not doing press for the election, goes to every town and city in the country and talks about 1916 as he's renaming the train stations, and obviously brings up the fact that he was there.
Yeah.
And,
Who won that election?
yeah. He doesn't win about that much, which is also funny. But meanwhile, Tom O'Higgins is like fucking going around trying to shake hands and make his way into the Irish. But
Higgins and Dev, it's great. It's like Frank Grimes and Homer Simpson.
yes, yeah. Just that's how long Dev is around for as well. Is the whole Higgins family. It's like the
it's multiple
grandfather, the
generations.
kids. Yeah,
It's very cool though. I'm delighted they did that back in the 60s. Like renamed the train stations. I was surprised by the amount of people that didn't know that. Because I think there's stations, there's definitely stations in Ireland that people don't refer to by the 1916 name. As in, the train station in Kilkenny, everyone calls it McDonough.
Sure.
Nobody calls it Kilkenny train station, right?
No.
But there is train stations around Ireland where the 1916 name hasn't caught on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Bray is one, I think. Hopefully I'm not wrong in saying that. But I think people still call Bray Station. I think some of the stations haven't caught on for some
Probably
reason.
in majority Fine Gael areas, because that was a Fianna Fáil move to rename them. And
Yeah, I don't
also,
know.
you very generously corrected me there, saying it was the 60s, because I added 50 to 1916 and got 1956, which was... that's on me. But you're right, it was 1966. Yes, but... I wonder, is that like some sort of holdover, like, because Dave did it, and people were like, no, this is a Fine Gael town. We'll call it Bray Station.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that myself, to be honest, until I made a video on it one day and people were like, "Oh, I had no idea my local train station was called this." I'm like, "What? Really?"
Yeah,
Strange,
because a Carlow is called Carlow. There's no the next stop. Say Bagnallstown. That's Winneviugas is the name in Irish, but there's none of the stations that I'd ever use have 1916 apart from when I have to come all the way down to Kilkenny.
And I mean, to be fair, in terms of like practicality, it makes much more sense to name it the place you're going to rather than someone who died 100 years ago.
Yeah. It is a bit more practical in a sense, I suppose. Yeah.
But at the same time, practicality that is no place in modern Ireland. Blind nationalism. Yeah.
You figure it out when you're in European countries and you don't know how to pronounce or the names of any of these spots, and you still get around just as fine.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, down in Roadhouse, we went last time we were here. We went to see the giant elk head.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of Kilkenny history. I wanted to do. I tried to read. I think briefly. There's when they found that elk head, and there's like they're all kept in the bogs. Whatever way, the peat manages to like maintain the composure of the body for a long time. So they found all these giant elks, and it was before the theory of evolution. So there was a competing theory because they were looking at these giant animals and being like, well, obviously they don't exist anymore, but God wouldn't let a creature not exist anymore. So what's happened? And they came up with a theory that there used to be bigger versions of all the animals,
right?
And that's just how the world was. So that's like before, evolution, all that stuff comes along. There's like a brief period where that was the leading theory because of these giant elks they found that they couldn't explain.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we just have smaller elks.
Yeah, now we're like, actually.
And dinosaurs were just big horses.
Well, they hadn't found the dinosaurs yet. That really put a spanner in the works. But
dinosaurs used to be a lot bigger.
Yeah. They just rearranged the bones to look like giant chickens. But who else is some famous Kilkenny?
Peter DeLucre.
Oh yeah.
Now, as we're on the topic of Roadhouse, he was actually born there.
Oh really?
He was born in Roadhouse, grew up like 2 doors down, and he is most famous for Dev's Jailbreak.
Yes.
Which is done, I suppose, mostly by Michael Collins and Harry Boland, but the guy inside the prison that handcrafted the key was Peter DeLucre from Kilkenny.
I mean, we made a lot of jokes about this at the time, but I like your take on it. Because Dev, what is it? 1918. There's a trumped up charge that they're like, oh, the Irish are in league with the Germans. Collins gets news of this from his spies in the castle, and he says, we gotta run. And Dev says, no, we'll all go to prison. That'll make more sense. Which so Collins says no. He runs off. Dev gets arrested and goes to jail. And then within a year, 2 years, he wants to be broken out. Is he just jealous of what? Because in that time they get the first Dáil, the 1918 election. There's all this stuff happening, and Dev is just sitting in prison doing nothing.
Yeah.
Does he want to be broken out just to because I think he specifically doesn't ask Collins to do it. He wants Harry Boland to do it.
Yeah.
Is he jealous of how much Mick is getting done and the name he's making for himself while he's in prison?
It's hard to know because then, like for most of
this is it. If it's hard to know, just make it up and say yes.
Because like most of the War of Independence, Dev also isn't even here.
Yeah,
he's in the States for 18 months
off with the hand out.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. Like he doesn't, even though he's such a huge figure in the War of Independence, he wasn't really here for most of it.
Yeah, I've kind of read. Yeah, I've read he's more of a, and in the Civil War as well, he's kind of like a, I don't know, a retired athlete. A DJ Kerry, if you will. They have him around the coaching staff to inspire the young men, but he's not actually really doing anything or allowed near any of the money. Yeah. I think he's he's very much sidelined for the independence and Civil War. Well, I don't know. He's not as big of a figure as he would be then afterwards, which is kind of funny.
There's a great documentary about that on Tina G. There's the Dev's Civil War years and post. It's a lot of it's actually about dealing with the women at the time and how just like the slow, just one by one, how they all kind of slowly turn on him just because of slights that he like personal slights like Kathleen Clark and just rolling back things that he would have said previously. And it's but again it's watching that during the time like all the research we were doing for Dev, you can see every time he did there's only a handful of things that I disagree entirely with.
Right.
And then it's kind of like, I can see what he's up to. That's like, if he views the world in this way, which is that maybe women shouldn't be in politics or be given that much power, that I wouldn't agree with that. But that you can see that he was he stuck with his belief system the entire way through.
He always believed.
At least he was a man of his conviction, and that's like if people were voting for that, they got what they wanted. At least he said what he was going to do, and then he went and did it.
That is true.
I wouldn't have agreed with a lot of it.
Yeah.
But if the people were voting for that,
then
what can you do?
That is a fair point. Yeah.
Like it was the we have to remember that growing up, a lot of the older people we would have seen have a problem with the Ireland that we have now. That that a lot of old people are like, they harken back to the days of like, stay in your village forever.
Yeah.
Never go to Dublin. Never leave the country.
That's where crime happens.
Yeah, don't get an education. It'll depress you.
Yeah.
You'll know too many things.
Yeah. That is, I mean, Dev.
Hang around the crossroads. Meet a girl at the age of 16. Don't say how old you are. Marry her. That's what Ireland was meant to be. That's Dev's Ireland.
That's what he wanted. Yeah, because the people kind of blame him for, he turned the place into a Catholic theocratic state.
Yeah.
But like that was already, I think the year he gets elected, the Eucharist, he gets elected as Taoiseach for the first time, the Eucharistic, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, there's a massive Catholic ceremony already happening.
Yeah.
All through the 20s, that's the way it was going, because that's what the people in charge wanted.
Yeah, and they had the money.
Well, yeah. But we're almost finished now, I think. We're almost at, we're just over an hour. But
did we mention James Holden?
No.
So famous people from Kilkenny.
More famous people from Kilkenny.
Right, I'm going to list off all the hurlers.
Yes. Well,
too many hurlers to mention.
I've been shocked about how many people haven't never been to Kilkenny.
Really?
Like
yeah?
Dubs. It's so easy to get to, and it's class.
The easiest place to get to. Like, it's straight on the train from Houston, hour and a half, you're in Kilkenny City.
Yeah.
And the train station's right in the middle of the town. Like, you're within 5 minutes walking by.
Yeah.
Also, well, the problem is that you have to, I counted it there the last time I was down. Is it from the train station to the bridge? Is it 17 pubs? It's something that, like, because I remember saying, it's like, Jesus, you come down here and sure you'd have a pint in every pub. Oh no, you physically couldn't.
You wouldn't get off the street.
Yeah, you wouldn't even get halfway down.
Yeah,
like it just instantly starts, and you go, oh yeah, it is. Because during all the festivals and like whenever Kilkenny are going well in the hurling, that like the town's just awash with tourists, and it's crack, and there's music and there's arts, and it's and every pub is absolutely packed, and it's maybe we don't need the people from Dublin coming down. Keep it the way it is.
Well, the last time we came down here for some festival and they closed the trains some bank holiday weekend. They're like, just I don't know, don't come down here.
Yeah, it's for locals only.
Locals only. But how would you sell Kilkenny?
So what Kilkenny is known for, I suppose, number one, being the best hurling team of all time.
Yes.
Cork and Tipperary people are just loving hearing that. After that, what are we known for? I'll name a few famous people from Kilkenny that people might not know.
Yeah.
And I'll avoid hurling. James Holden.
Yeah.
So he was born near Callan, just only about 10-15 minute drive outside the city. Born in the 18th century, he goes to Dublin to a drawing school, emigrates to the States, works as an architect, and then in the late 18th century, George Washington actually runs a competition for who's going to design the house of the President of the United States and the future presidents, which is the White House. And James Holden won the competition. Yeah. So a lad from Kilkenny, just out the road from here, designed the White House, which is nuts, really, to be honest. The White House gets its... It was kind of known as the White House after he designed it, but it didn't really get its official name till Teddy Roosevelt's time. Yeah. Who was also delivered by an Irish doctor, which is gas, Thomas Addis Emmet. I'm getting away from Kilkenny now. Yeah. But also
doesn't get away from Kilkenny because the counterpoint to that is it was built or designed by an Irishman. It was burnt down by a different Irishman.
The White House. Yeah. In the War of 1812.
War of 1812, yeah. General Ross burnt it down.
Yeah.
There's a giant, which I always find funny, there's a giant obelisk to him dedicated to that. Dedicated to him anyway, outside of Ross Trevor.
Right.
And I always think of just Americans driving around the Moore Mountain coastal route and they see this big Washington Monument style obelisk, like, oh geez, I wonder what this is, and pull in and read about it. It's like, the time that we fucking burnt down Washington and we do it again.
And then James Holden got a second job out of it to
that's true,
fix the White House.
Irish people looking after other Irish,
yeah, absolutely. Then we have Walt Disney. So Walt Disney's grandfather is from Kilkenny.
Because I always say Carlow.
You would say that.
Yeah, I would say that. I think are they buried in Tinner Island out in Carlow?
There's two different. Some people say they were from Freshford, and some people say they were from Goran. So I don't know which is correct. It's kind of mixed. But
that's what everyone was trying to claim them until then. Walt got a little bit. until some more things came out, and I'm like, do you know what? He's actually from Kilkenny.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts though, yeah. Like Walt Disney's grandparents were from here, and Disney, obviously such a weird name.
Sure.
His surname wasn't spelled the way Disney is spelled nowadays. It's like that's like an anglicization.
Yeah.
It's like an old French, like Norman name.
Oh, like D apostrophe.
D apostrophe.
Okay,
Yeah. So they're from Kilkenny.
Yeah. Which is also, I'm sure, completely unrelated, but like Kilkenny is now the powerhouse of animation in Ireland.
Yeah, Cartoon Saloon.
Cartoon Saloon, and doing a lot of animation for a lot of American shows are animated here now.
Yeah, it's nuts. I think Rick and Morty even
Rick
is.
and Morty, yeah. Crapopolis. I've definitely pronounced that wrong, but my friend Rory Kerr is an animator, and he's always shown me interesting things that they're working on. But a lot of stuff's done out of here now.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like for such a small town/city. Here's one way of knowing if somebody's from Kilkenny city or not. I'm not from the city, so I call Kilkenny a town.
Yeah.
But all of the townies will call it a city.
Yeah, it's got everything the city needs. A road.
Yeah.
2 roads if you're being generous.
Yeah.
Because there's a name for the type of city that it is.
Yeah, it's town.
Yeah. Because it was not a municipal city, or was there's a term for it that denotes it as like not the same as all the other ones. Is Waterford a city as well?
I think it is,
but it's not really. That we've got, is it Cork, Limerick, Galway, and Dublin?
Yeah,
they're the only southern actual
coming
cities.
from Dundalk, I always have my back up about this, because if you look, I think the legal requirements are
two cathedrals.
Yeah, 2 cathedrals, a university, and a population above a certain amount. But even if you meet that criteria, it's still up to, there's just some board that decides. So that's what they want, but also it doesn't apply to Kilkenny or Waterford, and Dundalk has those things, and it's not a city.
Right, okay.
The real way to get turned into a city is to have the King or Queen of England turn a round number years old, and then you get cities. That's how Lisburn and Newry are cities. But unfortunately, that doesn't work for us anymore.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, I suppose most people know of Kilkenny as we're called the Cats.
Yes.
Like our hurling team is called, like they're called the Cats. And there's about 1 million different theories as to why that is. And like one of them is in the army barracks here back in like the early 1800s, apparently the soldiers in there were bored and tied 2 cats together by their tails and let them fight it out. So one of the officers hears this fight going on. So as he's walking down towards to see what's going on, the soldiers cut the tails off the cats, let them go, and then they can't dispose of the tails on time, so they just drop them on the ground. And when the officer comes down, the lads just tell him, oh, these 2 cats just started fighting, they ate each other, and there's only their tails left.
And you were like, that'll be the hurling team. So
that sounds like something Walt Disney would see and be like, that'll make a great cartoon. That's not how animals work.
Yeah. So they ate each other somehow.
Yeah. Just one big cartoonist chomp, and then they both went.
Yeah. There's a load of different versions of that story, but that's a good one. So that's why we're known as the Cats. And I guess we fight till the death, I suppose. That's the whole
maybe
thing.
I always assumed it was to do with your other famous alum, Alice Kittler. Although I don't know why. Because cats and witches and that kind of thing.
Yeah. There's so many versions of it, yeah. But obviously, Kittler is another big one here.
Those are loads of great reasons to visit Kilkenny. I don't know why I don't work for Kilkenny Tourism. I'm fond of the place.
I'd highly recommend people come here because, like, again, it's going to sound biased, but like Kilkenny Castle is one of the most, hands down, one of the most impressive castles in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, easily.
Yeah.
You know?
Beautiful grounds. And very cheap to go on the tour. Is it only like 10 or 12 quid?
It is, it's cheap, yeah. And we have like Canis's Tower. It's one of only a few round towers in the country that you can climb.
Yeah.
It's
really
phenomenal.
well maintained, yeah.
And the little train that goes around.
Yeah, I've never been on it actually, to be honest.
Same, but it looks like great crack. I was trying to organise it. Well, the thing is, Kilkenny, it's full of stag and bachelorette parties and that. So you have to, you'll always be dealing with that. But I was trying to organise one down here last year, and I was trying to see if I could rent that train. And because it is made for children, but how great would it be if you had 20 drunken men on that?
Everyone would love that.
Yeah,
that's great.
How has it not been sold as a
the people of Kilkenny, the children who can't use the train,
it's a
owner of the car you inevitably can't crash into, everyone would be happy.
Nighttime specific tours. The dark history of Kilkenny on a children's train.
Yeah. But Well, like even around the Stags and Hens, there's so many. We were down here a few times for gigs over the summer, and there's just a run of like.
There's a great escape room called
Yeah.
No Way Out.
No Way Out escape room,
which is where this has been filmed right now.
Yes, features an Alice Kittler style escape puzzle as well. And no, this isn't connected, but yeah, there's a Dean Street one. Yeah, Jonathan Swift went to Kilkenny very briefly.
Kilkenny College, yeah.
I believe so, yeah. But probably so briefly that no one even bothered to. I assume Dean Street isn't named after him. Probably the Dean of. The Dean of Canis's now that I think about it, which is much closer than Christchurch. But yeah.
Yeah, because that's where the name Kilkenny comes from, is actually just straight across the road from where we are right now. So it comes from St. Canis's. So originally, St. Canis would have had a monastery up here across the road. Yeah. And that's where Kilkenny gets its name. It's anglicised from Kilkenny, which means Church of Canis, which is straight across the road from here now. Yeah. So that's where you actually have the round tower as well up at Canis's Cathedral.
Mm-hmm. And why the Marble City?
It's kind of funny because of our famous black marble, which is limestone, which is famously not marble at all.
Yeah, that's a classic Irish plumose. No, limestone. No, that's black marble. And you better hurry quick because this is hot off the shelves. It'll be all gone by the end of the day. Well, geez, that's more than enough reason to visit Kilkenny.
Absolutely, yeah, it's gorgeous here. Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, that's it. Have you got any things you want to plug, or just your YouTube channel is the main thing?
Yeah, my social media channel, it's just Davy Holden. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You did good with the branding.
Well, yeah. Plain and simple, yes. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, just Davy Holden, and that's it.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, and, cheers for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks a million for having me, lads.
Of course.
Cheers.
Good luck.
After.
Good luck.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.